things were no clearer whatsoever after looking in the crystal ball, so it doesn't work.
Need a magic 8 ball.
So where are we right now with Bitcoin?
We're at 57,676.49. So it is hanging out. It's been hanging out here. I'm on the 4-hour chart. Can you guys see this chart? Let me go to the 1 hour. So, like, we've been there all day. We were just under. We've had this blue line forever at 57,562. We were just under it for a bunch of hours, a little bit over it. It seems to be holding this line, but it's like it's hugging the line. I got a different chart I want to go to.
Is there a lot of pressure on it?
What's going
Hello?
on here?
Did I lose you?
No, you did not lose me. I'm here. What did you ask me a question?
Yeah, is there a lot of pressure on it? Does it look like it's going up, down, left, right?
It looks
no one knows.
It looks incredibly neutral. It looks really neutral. I feel like if I had to lean one way or the other, it's starting to look a little bullish, but last time I said that, it didn't work out that way. Although we did get a very quick upside, and that's what I'm feeling like again. We're set up for a little bit of a run up, but it's not necessarily a signal that we're headed back up in the long run.
Well, let's talk strategy for 30 days from now. What do you think? I mean, so let's say we're the first week of January. Do you think it's better to stay in the Bitcoin miners and wait for the fourth quarter results?
Oh, I will definitely be holding. I mean, I've got my positions. That's right, exactly. I've got my positions in stock. I do mess around with options, so it's not that I don't trade, but I don't buy or sell. My stock at this point I got locked in. So, but I am pretty heavy on options in Bitfarm, CleanSpark, and a few others at the moment as well.
Explain to me what is going on with Hive right now.
Well,
is it Hive? Was it Hive or is that
which one?
Hive, right? Who just consolidated that went on the NASDAQ?
Oh, DigiHost just moved over to the NASDAQ.
Who's the one that I'm holding that went to $4? They were $3.99.
Well, that's Hive. That's Hive. They also moved over, but that was a while ago.
What's going on with Hive?
So, I mean,
it was somebody trying to make some money on their puts.
I don't know. I'll pull up the chart. Everybody's got their theory as to what's what, but this has moved very similarly in tandem with the other Bitcoin miners, which have been following along with Bitcoin. So here's the Hive chart. So this was November 18th last week. It got down to under our $3.74 line. But pretty much since then, it's held like $3.87, and it closed over $4 today. Now, having said all that, if you just go back here, let's get off of the 30-minute. So if you just go back, like we closed here, if you go back to November 9th, it's down, it would take a 39% increase to get back to where we were, 2.5 weeks ago. But a lot of these charts look this way. They're all between 25 to 40% down for the most part. So that's just what happened. Again, these are a leveraged play on Bitcoin. So as a result, they follow Bitcoin, but with greater volatility. So I'm not worried. I did all, and you can see, like, we've been going sideways. This is November 16th. Even all the way back here from November 10th. We're exactly where we were on November 10th on this stock. So November 9th, it hit its high, and then it ran straight down here, and it's gone sideways, up and down, but we find ourselves in the exact same spot. And that is true on a lot of these stocks. Riot and Marathon took, yesterday they both tanked, and today they both came back. Riot more so than Marathon. Riot was up 8% today. So the big winners today, Bitfarms was up 8%, but Bitfarms got crushed yesterday. I think it was down 9. So down 9, up 8, you're right back where you started. And same thing with Riot.
So what do you think the health is overall in this Bitcoin mining? You change anything or no?
I'm not changing my strategy at all. I did a video yesterday morning where I zoomed out and just looked at, the last 3 or 4 months. And maybe even a little bit longer. Oops, sorry, that was my earpiece. And if you do that, we're clearly still in the middle of a bull run. This is a pullback. This was, a little bit over 20%. We had another one in the middle of this run that was 25%. But everything looks just fine to me. So I'm holding. I didn't buy or sell anything today, which is pretty rare for me. But, given yesterday everything was down so much, I did do some buying yesterday. And so today just left me no opportunity. Things didn't go up enough to sell those things. So I held.
You have to show everybody that vertical put. They won't believe it. A Marathon.
Oh, so George got into a put spread selling the Marathon 50. So we looked at the chart. Marathon's at 52. It really hasn't closed below 50, even through all this chaos, I'll call it, over recent weeks. It hasn't really closed below 50. So he was able to sell the 50 puts and buy the 48s. And what'd you get, like 60 cents in the middle?
Yeah, 60.
So basically, I don't know if everybody understands what that means, but he gets to keep that 60 cents as long as Marathon stays above 50. So actually, as long as Marathon stays above $49.40, he breaks even. And if it stays above 50, he gets to keep all the money on the. So that's a vertical put spread. We didn't really go through that on our put day, but but believe it or not, that's a good spread as long as you're confident. You have reason to believe that the stock is going to hold. So I feel like we're going sideways at the worst, and everything's pretty much at or near a line of support. So
yeah, and I mean you got to risk a little to make a little.
Absolutely, there's an upside and a downside to that. There's $2 in the middle on that spread, so you can make 60 cents, you can lose $1.40. But if you feel strongly that you're most likely to make or break even, then it's a good trade.
I figured as long as a Marathon doesn't act like the Buffalo Bills, we're fine.
I give up on the Bills. We grew up in Western New York, so we grew up Bills fans, but they've disappointed us again.
Just when you think now do you think they're even going to make the playoffs? I don't even know. They're like.
I give up.
In the middle. In the middle, Tom.
I'm just reading some of these comments.
How'd Beam do?
Beam was a little bit sideways today. It's hanging out around $27, $28. So that's the low end of its range. So I'm still waiting on Beam.
Do you think the sky is falling yet in the stock market?
No, I don't. I know there's a lot of talk about that. And somebody asked, how do you think the crypto mining stocks will perform under a high interest rate environment? So I really believe that, first of all, interest rates are not going to change very much, if any. And even if they tick up a little bit, I just don't think that's going to have any impact, any negative impact on the crypto world. If anything, you would think it could have a positive impact, but so far that theory hasn't played out either. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin regardless of what interest does over the next 6 months. I think Bitcoin's in the middle of a bull run, and it's not done. You know, it's not going up as fast as everybody hoped. This was supposed to be Moonvember, and we were going to go to 98,000 and all that, but
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. You ready?
okay, yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Plan B.
Plan B. All right, Rob, go Bills. I know.
Plan B. Do we have any chance of Plan B happening?
Well, so you're saying there's a chance. There's
I guess
always
there's always a chance.
there's always a chance. I said at the beginning of the month, I didn't really think that there was a legitimate shot at that. And now it seems incredibly unlikely. Hey, listen, I'd love it if that we got 1 week and a holiday in the middle to go up, 40,000 points. So that seems highly unlikely to the point where it's not even worth considering. But
Do you think it'll get to 70?
this month, 70 is a stone's throw away.
Right.
We were just at 69 a few weeks ago. So you never know. Cryptocurrency is very volatile. It has violent moves. Bitcoin has had huge moves. We have not seen one of those giant green candles in a while, but we could get one. We could go back and test our high. It hit exactly on my chart. It hit exactly 69,000. So.
And when was that? How long ago was that?
Oh, thanks, Michael. Good catch.
What do you say? I can't see.
Love the Dumb and Dumber reference.
Oh. That's basically Dumb and Dumber. We just fight our Hoovers. I always take the dumber.
So Bruce is asking me, you still think this is Bitfarms month? Well, I think this month did not go as I planned, because while I did not think that we were going to 98,000, I did think we were going to have a positive November, and it has not been a positive November. So, everybody's sideways, including Bitfarms. It's still in total, Bitfarms is my biggest position. So I still have the same level of conviction, but no, I think I'm going to have to do another video. I said October was Bitfarms month, and then at the beginning of November, I said, no, I'm wrong. November's Bitfarms month. But I think I'm going to have to do one at the beginning of December as well.
Question. With that being said, what was Big Farm at the beginning of this month?
Well, let's pull up the chart.
As you do that, I'm going to switch to my computer in my house.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
So we started the month. Wow. Forgot we were this low. So we started the month. Wow. We started this month at $5.95 for Bitfarm. The problem is, so it actually was a good month, but the problem is it looked like, we were off to the races. In the first 9 days, we were up 56%. And now at this point, we're still up 35%, but that's not where I thought we were going. I will admit, I thought this run was going to continue. I thought this was just the beginning, and Bitcoin got derailed. So if we go back and look at, all these guys, this is going to be this is actually November 10th is Bitfarms high. So it's all the 9th or the 10th, and that is because so this is the 10th right here for Bitcoin. So, this red thing right here, this was the flash crash. So pretty much since that happened, we really haven't been back. We've tested this 64 a couple times and then took another big drop down. Now we're struggling. We can't even get back and test 60 at the moment. So We're still up for the month on Bitfarms, which is good, but way off of our highs. So I've been buying the dip. Like I bought all of these on, not just Bitfarms. There was this giant dip, this giant dip, this giant dip. This was a quickie, but there was this and this. So there were a lot of buying opportunities this month, and I used the vast majority of my powder. I always save some because you never know. It could always go further down, but I dipped in pretty good this month.
It's funny because it's like, how much is enough? We're one tweet away from Elon hitting 80. Thank you, Rob. We are.
I don't know. Elon is no friend of Bitcoin, and I'm not sure what his influence is at this point. There was a time where his tweets were dictating what Bitcoin was doing. He got Bitcoin to 40,000, and then he decided to tank it later. So, but I feel like Bitcoin's moved on from that phase.
What was my prediction about Bitfarm? Somebody said something to wait until November. Somebody said wait until December 1st on Bitfarm. I don't know who that person was, and I ain't giving them any credit. But somebody said wait till December 1st. So I don't know if they're going to announce something or they think that Bitcoin's going to take off. But they said that's the date. It's always 1 month. It must be the people that are holding XRP.
Yeah, it was still a good month for a bunch of these miners, including, I'm up on my position in Bitfarm, and from an options standpoint, I've probably doubled my position. So, as long as Bitcoin heads in the right direction, this will end up being a very good month for me. But if Bitcoin were to tank, that would not be good for me. And I'm guessing almost everybody watching.
Talk about CleanSpark real quick, would you?
Sure.
I mean, are we at the top of CleanSpark? Or?
Not at all. In my opinion, we are not at all at the top. In fact, we've had just like everything else, we've had a pullback. So the hardest part about this is these short-term predictions because, if you guys all remember back to the last week of October, like it was going to be, November was going to be like, Plan B had us at 98,000. Expectations were through the roof, which may be one of the reasons that it didn't end up happening because, people leveraged up and that gave some of the big money the opportunity to push this thing down a little bit. But any month or even 1 or 2 months is a super short-term time frame. I try to follow along. I follow so many different indicators, but, lately there hasn't been a consensus. Everything is feeling very neutral. Like I said, I feel like everything is leaning a little bit bullish, but very neutral. The other day, I bet it's actually posted now. The other day, the fear and greed index for crypto was at 50, which is exactly the middle of neutral. Now, it dipped down to 33 yesterday, which is good. So that's towards fear, and you want there to be a little fear in the market. That's the time to buy. So, and I did buy yesterday, but I did not buy anything today. I saw no. Did anybody buy anything today? I just didn't see a real good buying opportunity today.
I'm broke. What was it? DigiHost went up. I think we were up like a ton on DigiHost. I looked today. Somebody pulled the rug out from underneath me.
Yeah, DigiHost had a red day. There was a few things that had a red day. This was some of these days have been strange, and these guys aren't all acting the same. Like Bitfarms had a huge day, Riot had a huge day, Marathon had a good day, Any had a big day. But again, when you put the 2 days together, everybody had a bad day yesterday. So I'm not sure that anybody really even got back to where they were yesterday. I think Any did. I think Any got back and then some. But yeah, DigiHost, I don't know what's going on with DigiHost. all the fundamentals remain the same on DigiHost, in my opinion. I do hold it. Now trades on the NASDAQ under DGHI. It's always traded on the Canadian exchange that way. So depending on where you live, I used to have to trade that over the counter as HSSHF, then HSSHD. But now we get to trade it as DigiHost. However, it's tanked the last week. I think worse than all the other ones.
Can you explain to me how, like, the big money comes in and how they kind of do what they do? What you were told?
Here's the problem with DigiHost. I'm going to bring it up this way.
But anyways, CleanSpark, we're still feeling very confident about it.
So, all right, I'll wrap up my CleanSpark. I mean, you can see we're down.
So when you see red candles like that in the volume, that was pretty low, actually, where that red candle happened.
So this is down about 25%. So $17 is a really strong line of support for CleanSpark. And, I had this heading towards 25. Their market cap is much less than it was at the beginning of the year, which makes no sense. They have ramped up their Bitcoin mining massively. They're executing very well. They're very familiar with the energy space. So none of this is confusing to them. They were trading at $45 a year ago. They're trading at $17 right now. I won't be selling my CleanSpark for a long, long time. So
What, you're hoping up for 100?
I think that's very realistic.
Not financial. Not at all. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out my microphone.
Everybody's got to decide for themselves, but I mean, they were at 45. Now they've issued more shares since then, so it's not exactly apples to apples, but their market cap is down since, February of this year. And actually since January of this year. And in January of this year, they weren't even a Bitcoin miner. They had mined, I think, a half a dozen Bitcoin in total as a company. So now they're mining, a couple hundred a month, and they're ramping up big time from that. So I see this stock going. My personal price target for this stock is, maybe a triple or a quadruple. But again, that is a longer term price target. So I hate saying those because, that's my 2-year price target. So for the next 2 years, everybody can say, oh, Tom's wrong. CleanSpark isn't at 100, but it's like I don't think it's going to 100 tomorrow, but I do think it should head, in general, this should just keep heading up for the next 2 years, in my opinion.
2 years, huh? I feel like somebody put on a filter and my lips are like that red. You know what I mean? Like somebody did a filter on me and made my lips like super red or something.
Did you do a filter?
No. You just never know nowadays. Doesn't it look it?
Oh, Ryan said he YOLO'd on Hut 8 calls at $20. At $20? What month?
Hopefully this week.
I mean, I'm very bullish on Hut 8 also. They've run up a little. Hut 8 had a great run. Marathon had a great run. Marathon got wrecked. So, if you guys want to see my deep dive, I just did one on that. And Marathon seems to be highly controversial. I noticed in the comments section that there's people that have very strong feelings in both directions on Marathon.
Dude, what happened after hours to Riot? Holy smokes. It's nice to wake up and see that.
Oh, did it pop after hours?
Yeah, I guess so. I've just looked.
Nice.
Maybe I fell asleep or something.
Well, let's see. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Oh.
It's 36.13 is what, I don't know if that's what it closed at or.
So I just want to show you guys this Bitcoin chart I have. This is a different chart than my normal chart. And we're sitting right, so we've been trading, this date is November 10th. So that's almost 2 full weeks ago. So, I mean, you can see I've got resistance here and support here, and we've pretty much just been trading down for the last couple weeks. Everybody, you guys all know that. But, we hit this line once. We hit it again on the 21st, again on the 22nd, and we are sitting on this line right now. So, I've been waiting. Having said that, we've been sitting on this line for 4 hours. So, I don't know. I'm waiting for this is the breakout that I was hoped we were going to get. If we could just get up here and then maybe retest this and head up. But I don't want to make that prediction because I don't know. We seem stuck. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 times we've tested this line and we haven't broken through it. Now, we're nowhere near the bottom and we haven't tested the bottom in a while. So hopefully we hang out near the top here, but I don't know.
I called the bottom at 48, just so you know. I thought we would see 48 before we saw a new high. Why? I don't know.
So that's George's call. He's calling 48. I am not calling 48. I have. Let me get back to my real chart.
You gotta understand, Tom's the one that sits there and researches the snot out of it. I just take and wipe my butt and come up with something.
That's
and you know what's
lovely.
right? We should keep track of who's been right. I think I've been right every single time. Remember, I called it. We gave it to me because I said it's going to go down to 48.5 and it went to 49 something.
You've nailed a couple. There's no doubt about it. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're off base on this one. I added this purple line right here today at $55,605. That has been, this candle wicked through it here, but it held on the 22nd. This was back on November 18th. Bounced right off of it here. To me, we're trading, and this is a big range, but I see us as trading like this. This is the box we're stuck in right here. And we got to get out of it to one side or the other, obviously preferably to the upside, which I think is going to happen. But we need to see some moves first. We are stuck. I mean, look, this is from 55.6 to 59.6. And where are we? We're at 57.5. That is almost exactly in the middle. So that's what I'm saying. Neutral. It's like, we've tested the top. We've tested the top 3 times, almost 4 here. We tested the bottom several times. We're just stuck in the middle right now. And this thing has to make a move. So that is why I've been trying to pay attention to this. If we could just break out of this right here, then we would stand a shot. I think we got to break out of this. And we got to get over this $60,000 line. And really, sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. Really, it's this line on my real chart at $59,625. So,
question, how's the volume been on Bitcoin?
The volume's been okay. You see there's been some spikes here. Let me get to a bigger, 1 hour doesn't mean anything.
Is it true that everybody moved into Shiba?
So, nothing special. This is the daily volume. We had a little bit. That was a giant red day right here on November 18th. So, that was a little bit high volume. But this has been pretty normal volume. I mean, nothing like... This was the... Oh, this is way back in May. Let's get out of there. Beginning of September, October 18th. So nothing special on the volume. If you zoom in, there have been some spikes in volume, mostly on these red candles. If you go to the 4 hour, it's easier to see some. So yeah, you can see like this was a giant red. Here's a whole cluster of red. So that was a big move down. That was right at the beginning of the weekend. And then we just kind of went sideways.
Go to Binance to check Bitcoin.
So I'll get rid of this box. But this, I think we're stuck in this $4,000 range. I think we need to move out of this little trading channel that we've been stuck in for 10 days now. And then we got to get above this line at 59,000. I think if we do those two things, we can have some confirmation that the bull run is back on. And then I will be very bullish that we are heading back up. But until then, I just feel like you know, we have seen Bitcoin move sideways for a long, stretches at a time. So, is this one of those stretches? That's why it's hard to say, like, what's it going to be on December 31st? I don't know. Is it going to go sideways for, like, here? This was September 19th through, that was only 10 days. Where's a bigger stretch? There have been some massive sideways stretches. This whole period right here, this was all from May 19th to, so that's 2 months. We were either sideways and then started heading down a little. So I don't think we're headed into this type of a thing at all, but
I hope so, Rob. I hope so.
oh, yeah, this will be the one and only time the Bills play on Thanksgiving Day, and I have
just so you know, I made a ton of money on Shiba. I'm out now, but you can feel the push on it.
George did the Shiba thing. I did not. I don't do any altcoins. I got so much else going on that I just don't do it.
By the way, I think NFTs are going to be, next year, NFTs are going to be the future for the year.
So George is big on NFTs. I still can't figure out why NFTs need to exist at all. So,
no, NFTs are awesome.
I don't get it. I don't get a lot of, it's not that I haven't researched it. It's not that I don't know what they are. I just don't get it. But, hey, maybe I'm wrong. A lot of people didn't get Bitcoin and they said it was worthless. So that was $1 trillion ago.
Well, and I think that now as we kind of get into a mature, when would Bitcoin become mature? Would you say that it is now?
No, it's definitely still in a volatile stage. It's much, much more mature than it was in the 2017 run. So a lot of things have fundamentally changed. So Bitcoin's in a much healthier spot right now. The market cap is much bigger, and beyond that, the mass adoption, is well underway. So it's maturing, but it's still volatile. But I think we've gone past this, gigantic, we just experienced the 20% pullback. We're going to get those. But I think, these 80% pullbacks, I would be absolutely stunned. The only way that we would see something like that is if somehow we just went parabolic to, 300,000 and then had an equally giant pullback. But that's not really a pullback if you're up 400% and then down 80%. But I don't think any of that's going to happen. There's too much money in this for this thing to go, up $100,000 in a day or a week.
I don't think you can own. There's multiple. At least there's 3 that I know of where you can trade NFTs. And
yes, Ethereum dominates, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use the Poo swap. I know you can use the Poo swap. The Poo coin. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Bruce, I think I have your money.
Leave it to George.
By the way. So I did the exact opposite. I put in 100. I heard about it. I put in $100, and it went up to 500. I pulled out my 400, and I don't even know what I have here. I'll look at it real quick. And by the way, somebody said something about Coinbase. Coinbase is down. OMG. Oh, is it down right now? Come on.
That's frustrating.
That's the whole thing. This whole crypto world is supposed to be I'm on Coinbase right now. It says the future of money is here, except your money's not available, and you go to get it, and there's a problem. Go to token.
It's frustrating. It's still not as seamless as it could be, especially when you're trying to do altcoins. There are a lot of ways now to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and a few other things that have been dumbed way down, which is good for me. But I'm not trading altcoins anyway. But I do know I did do the research and went through the process, and I think it's
down.
mind-boggling. Michael V is saying
really
Coinbase
down.
is still down.
This is insane. Are you guys kidding me? Dude, I wish I could short their stock right now.
Levy, yes, we're talking Bitcoin miners
Dude.
mostly.
I wonder if
Or
they
Levi.
got hacked. I bet you they got hacked. You know that? Unbelievable.
I don't know if they got hacked. Stuff goes down. Let's
No.
not jump
Doesn't-
to any conclusions.
It doesn't look right the way it goes down, the way it went down. They're like, oh, that. You know what's funny? Is did you hear? Did anybody hear that? What was it? Salerno got delisted from 2 or 3 platforms today.
Cordano, no.
Oh, is that, yeah, Cordano. That's
Yes.
ADA. So like I sold them, and then right after they sold them, I sold it. Of course, I sold it with Coinbase. They went down.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I know that has moved in the wrong direction, and that's a perfect example. 2 months ago, Cordano was going to take over the world. It was going to take over Ethereum. It was, and now it's
$1,000 into it, but I mean, it was still money. Hang on, I'm typing in Coinbase on Coinbase support. 300 tweets in the last hour, guys. What does it say? Please check my wallet. Crypto looks funny. The same issue. Oh my goodness, these are coming in faster. You should change the title right now to Coinbase support on the live feed.
Yeah, we are not
I'm serious.
Coinbase support, and this is
No,
not
no.
financial advice.
Wow, you should see the. Oh my goodness, these people are going nuts.
Well, they got a lot of. I mean, they have millions and millions and millions of customers, active customers. So if they're down for a significant period of time, that'll be a big deal. Everybody's going to go
Somebody
crazy
goes,
about it.
Listen to this one. This is he calls himself, and I kid you not, he calls himself a Shiba trillionaire. And he goes, first of all, I got ripped off by GYEN. I don't know, is that spelled when? This month, experiencing excessive connection and lots of trade and buying opportunity. Where's the accountability? My account is closed. Crypto is too risky.
What is this? A complaint on Coinbase?
Yeah, everybody just write KuCoin.
KuCoin. See, I did the KuCoin thing. I joined half of these things. I don't do anything on them, but
I recommend crypto.com. That's what somebody just said.
well, they seem to be
yeah,
taking over the world,
in
including
Staples, right?
That's exactly right.
That's a stable coin, all right.
Not financial advice, not financial advice. I did see that DPW was pulling back a little bit, and that was one I didn't buy yet because it ran up so much. What was it? Friday it had that giant run up, but I am looking at it for sure.
Well, that's never good when that happens. See, this is stuff that you can't predict for the pricing of Bitcoin, by the way. Won't this affect Bitcoin?
It won't. It won't, believe it or not. I mean, Coinbase is one, in the United States it's prominent, but Binance is actually much bigger. And, one thing being down for a short period of time is not going to change the course of things. It'll be a big deal and people will complain about it to no end. But, I mean, think about what happened to Robinhood. That didn't change anything,
Yeah, I would not. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't trust Robinhood.
I use Robinhood. I'm not endorsing Robinhood. This is not an endorsement. I'm just saying I do use Robinhood. They serve a function for me.
Oh, wait. Hang on. Elon Musk is tweeting out. Coinbase is terrible. Buy Bitcoin. I'm just telling you what he says.
That is not necessarily correct.
And then he said something about Epstein, but I'm not going to read the rest of it.
Oh, brother.
This guy says you're effing with people's money.
George, they can barely hear you is what I'm reading.
I know. Something's wrong with my... Oh, hang on. Is that any better? Let me know. I forgot. I turned it down.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Is that better? Anyone? Bueller? Bitcoin is falling. Yeah, it's something. This is definitely gonna happen.
50. It's at 57,415. I mean, it's been. You can see, like,
I'm telling you, that's gonna hurt it.
yeah, it's gonna crash. We're doomed.
Anybody? Is that better? I can hear myself more. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is going to turn interesting. This is going to get into a really big stream now. Because Bitcoin is you know it's getting ready to happen. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
I'm telling you, here it is.
I-
Here we go live, and then we got to do this. We're going to do another midnight stream. Because we're going to have a lot of people. We're going to have to talk off the ledge. Probably Ryan.
Don't panic. That's my advice. Don't
I
panic.
am a frog.
Nothing. I don't know
I
if
feel the same.
we're down 0.42% on the
Hang
day
on a
on
second.
Bitcoin. All right, we're holding. George is trying to fix his situation. So anyway, I mean, we're down a couple hundred points on Bitcoin over the last few minutes. I don't know what's going on with Coinbase. They will fix their problem, I'm sure. And then everybody will complain about them for the next week. Oh, Michael V. I do not make the titles of these live streams. My son does, just so that you guys all know, because off the chain is not a normal part of my vocabulary. But I let him have a little leeway with that because he has fun with it. But for real, to answer your question, I mean, I'm very bullish right now on several of these. Bitcoin's Bitfarms is my biggest holding, but I hold a lot of CleanSpark. I've moved in on Riot a lot. And so I have a nice position in Riot. I hold a really big position in DigiHost as well. So that has not been fun for the last couple of weeks. But, for most of those, I took every buying opportunity that I could because they're all, I've done a deep dive on DigiHost, and their financials are going to prove themselves out. And I don't know, it's so funny. If you read the comments of all these, I just read the comments on my own videos, but I've gone to some of the, the Yahoo forum and StockTwits and that kind of stuff. There's a hater out there for every Bitcoin miner. It's just relentless. There's somebody out there to say this company is absolute garbage, management is junk, and it's going to zero. So I don't really see any Bitcoin miner on my list that I think has a big problem. And most of them, in my opinion, have big upside. Some more so than others. And some, the future is very uncertain because, like Cypher, they haven't even started doing anything. So it's hard to say if they're going to succeed. Judith is saying the dollar will go down. It must. We've been printing money. We have been printing money, but, I feel like we've been printing money for a while now. I don't know. It has not caught up to us yet. So I don't know when or if that is going to happen, but it's, the whole market. I would make the argument that not the crypto world, but I think that the stock market is the equities are way overheated right now. Yeah, I agree. DigiHost and Hive are not getting the attention they deserve. I don't know what the deal is. I don't get it. But again, I'm just going to wait for it because it's coming. Like, DigiHost is doing their thing, and they're very transparent. They put out regular monthly updates. Like, it's not like you don't know what's going on with them. So the fact that the one thing that I will say, I pulled this up earlier and I didn't look at it. So volume in the, this is on the NASDAQ, and I know it's also traded in Canada as well, but the volume is low, 216,000 shares today, and that was much higher than their average of 121,000. So it's pretty easy to push this stock around on a short-term basis. So they've driven the stock down to me, that's a buying opportunity because, when Q1 2022 and Q2 2022 results come out, these stocks won't be denied at that point, in my opinion. This is the period of time where they can still mess with a DigiHost. DigiHost was at 0.2 exahash all year until last month, but they've doubled to 0.4. They have plans to get much, much bigger than that. So, all of those will kick in, and that's going to show in their financial statements. So I'm just going to wait for it. No one's getting me to sell my DigiHost either. So I have a lot of, from a stock, I buy and sell a lot of options, but my stocks I'm pretty much just holding on to. Nate has come in and said, Coinbase was down for an hour from 7 to 8. But my real-time Bitcoin price seems off or maybe glitchy. Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at TradingView is what I'm using to look at Bitcoin. So I'll pull it up and you can see if your price is my price. This should be real time. I got 57,258. I don't know if I'm on a 5-second time delay or something, so there could be a possible difference between what you're seeing and what I'm seeing. KULR, I'm trying to remember, is that the altcoin ETF? I don't really remember, to be honest. Let's look it up.
Hi, Tom. I'm back. George's technical support here.
Oh, hey.
How does it sound? Does it sound better? Can you hear the people in the background?
The people are going to have to answer because I can hear it just fine, but it has been very quiet to everybody listening. So
very quiet. Okay,
anybody,
that's what I needed to know.
Yeah, give us some talk. This is Chance, everybody, and he's tech support on George's end. So talk in your normal speaking voice and see if these guys can hear you.
This is my normal speaking voice.
Are we hearing him? Are we hearing them? Are we hearing George's side okay?
You don't want to be hearing George right now, though. So.
Is it better now?
Oh, this is not who I thought it was at all. I do not know these guys, so I'll have to look into them. They're $310 million market cap. That's somebody I'm going to have to look into. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know them.
Says I can hear him. He sounds a bit low.
57, 2%. Yeah, we're down to about 57, 2-ish right now.
Going down.
All right, still a little bit low. And someone else, Ray hears them just fine. Michael V says much better now. So I think we might have, I think you might have fixed the glitch. I don't have DPW on my list. There's 6 or 8 miners out there that I have on my own personal list that I don't show on this list. Either because they're too new or too small, but, I try to follow them. And yeah, so I'll pull them up. Actually, a better way to pull them up is in TradingView, but
I'm okay. It's fine.
so they went, let's look at the 5-day. They went, yeah, I mean, they had this happen on Friday. So
Did they say that you're sounding quiet again?
I don't know what's going on that end. Oh, Ray's asking, when do you think we're talking about the coins as investing. When do you think we'll start talking about the coins as a means of conducting business? And that's a good question. I mean, there's certain, for certain tech people, the coins are already serving that function. But if you're talking about currency, I don't know. I mean, El Salvador's adopted it as their currency. I don't really think people are going to, particularly with Bitcoin, I just don't think it's ever going to serve that function. in the end, I don't think that is what its purpose is going to be. Like, very similar to gold, we don't really trade gold as currency. It's a store of value, and that may not have been, in the white paper, that may not have been its purpose. But I think with Bitcoin in specific, I think that's where it's going to end up. There may be other things that work that way, or maybe it'll do both. If it stabilizes, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, if the price stabilizes, then I think people would be more willing to spend it as currency. There's too many people that hold it right now that hear stories about somebody that bought a pizza with it, 8 years ago, and they'd be a billionaire right now if they didn't. So, it's hard to spend that way still in this early stage.
We're gonna break 57,000.
Oh, hold on. Let me get back. All right, but just everybody, to put it in perspective, like, this is today. These are all today. So, this is, oh, actually, we're on the 4 hour, so these are today. 1, 2, so giant green candle. This is red, but it was about the same, so now we're just headed down a little bit. So we're still way up on the day, but we do seem to be falling. 57,200. We were more like 57.5, 57.6 for the longest time. So we're having a little pullback. And the problem is, I'm more worried about this chart. So, if you zoom in here, this is the one I was hoping to have a breakout on, but it just keeps sitting on this line, and it just can't get through it. It candle wicked above it. This was earlier today, but it just, it couldn't even close. Let me go to
I'm learning Spanish so I can move to the city.
so these are 1 hour candles. It couldn't even close a 1 hour candle above this line. It is just solid resistance right here. And I was really, starting right here, I was getting my hopes up that we were, and you can see on a super short term on the 1 hour chart, we had this is basically a today line. We were holding this line all the way right into this spot right here. And then I was hoping we'd get a breakout, but it didn't. It's just walking the fence. And so to me, that kind of makes me feel like we're still bouncing around. And if we can see this thing go way up over this line, that will be my first confidence that we're on the way back up.
I can hide behind this microphone now.
Ah, is that better, everybody? Do we hear George better with the microphone?
Your wristwatch and your phone. Tom, do you think you have the same advice view as Saylor? Michael Saylor?
No, I don't.
Really?
And it's not that I disagree with what he's saying, but Michael Saylor has gone beyond all in on Bitcoin. I mean, he's more in than anybody on the face of this earth. So, no, I would not take every last penny I have and borrow billions of dollars past that to invest in Bitcoin. I have a high level of confidence that we're in a bull market, but not that high.
Yeah, but he got in back in like November, December, right?
He averages in still to this day.
does
He is continuously buying Bitcoin. And he bought, I know he had bought a big chunk in the high 50s. I think he bought some in the 60s.
Sorry.
Not financial advice. You agree with Michael Saylor?
I don't know. I mean, he's made more money doing that than he did his business, remember?
Oh, multiples more. Yeah, it's made him, he's accumulated massive wealth, and I think that his strategy is going to work out great for him. So I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I think there's a safer way. You know, obviously we're all dealing with dollars so much ridiculously smaller than him, but I think there's a safer way to play this than to go 100% all in with all your personal money, all your business's money, and borrow as much money as humanly possible and buy Bitcoin with it. That's a pretty drastic stance. Having said that, he's probably going to, make billions of dollars by doing so. So,
Yeah, if you think about it, the U.S. is all in on gold. He's all in on Bitcoin.
Manuel, are you talking about
Wow.
Marathon borrowing
Not
at 1%?
Wow. No. He's saying to borrow at 1%.
Oh, you're saying borrow at 1% and buy. It's still. Once you borrow, you're leveraging money you don't have. And in the event that things go wrong, like world events, I don't know, there's so much outside of your control that I would not leverage myself past the amount of money that I have. If I would borrow money at 1%, and there's plenty of things that I would do with it, but I wouldn't double down on Bitcoin with it. But having said that, trust me, I am disproportionately long on Bitcoin miners. It's much more than half of my portfolio, which is not advisable. So I'm already way longer than most people.
I'm 100% on miners now because I'm nervous the rest is going to crash.
Well, true.
But I'm going to tell you something cool that I'm doing. I'll keep you guys up if you're interested in it. I started this last week, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take every week I'm doing an option and I'm rolling the money over. So what I started with 2,000, I went 2,000 to 4,000, and next week will be 4,000 to 8,000. I'll let you know how it goes.
So George is just going to keep going until he loses. So why don't we take a vote? Should George keep doubling his money until he loses it all, or should he take profits along the way?
Everybody's going to say take profits. But
Hey.
Somebody just said it. Scared money don't make money. I ain't scared. I ain't scared at all.
You're gonna have to
Scared
go.
money. Remember that. Scared money doesn't make money.
You're gonna have to go undefeated forever. The end of this story is that you lose all your money.
No, it is not. No way. I am taking educated risks. Yes, it is time to buy. Double or nothing. Love options. See, I'm with Chad.
Listen, I'm in options big time. I'm even in some Decembers, which I ordinarily would never do. But I feel like in the world of cryptocurrency, having 3 or 4 weeks left on a option is actually a long time. So, I'm not big in on December, but ordinarily I would not buy that short term of a. Most of mine are I don't mind a 90 or 120 day option, and I'm heavy. I do have a lot of options. So, but I try to hold the stocks as well because, those you can hold for a lifetime.
Tom makes money on options. Don't let him kid you. He's solid on them.
That's my way of being able to hold my. If I didn't do the options, I'd be selling my stock, and I don't want to sell my stock. I think most of these that I'm invested in, I can hold these for indefinitely, years, maybe a decade.
The weirdest thing about my microphone is it keeps going down as I talk.
That microphone, I think, is picking up everybody at your house, too. I don't know if everybody else can hear that or just me.
They're laughing and having a good time. You can't tell them to stop.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
The way the world is right now, man, if you get to laugh, George is providing the rule of 70, the rule of 72 every 5 days. Proven. What Tom's nervous about is he doesn't understand I'm taking very, very low risk in what I'm doing. Very low risk. I would say my risk is probably less than 8%. I'm not doing the high risk numbers.
I love that you're telling everybody I don't understand what you're doing.
Tom's what I am. By the way, everybody, I have no idea what I'm doing. Every time I go to do the put spread or the vertical spread, Tom always goes, "You're doing it wrong." Only thing I know is I'm supposed to get a credit.
That's right. Get a credit on your vertical spread.
The opportunity is too big to lose. As time for some Mike DD. Mick DD?
Is that
McDonald?
Is that? Yeah, I was gonna say. Is that like a?
Hey Tom, it's December 31st. What is the Bitcoin price in your opinion?
You know, that is ever changing. I really did think we were going to get to 100 by December 31st, but I am losing confidence in that. That is five-ish weeks away. That's very hard for me to imagine at this point. So, you know, going 2 or 3 weeks in the wrong direction changes my view a lot. I would say now I feel like I would feel great if we were at 75 at December 31st.
That's a good one.
I would feel bad if we were at 60. Let's put it that
Logan
way.
thinks we're going to have a deep run into the year next year.
Logan, I totally agree with that. I don't think we're anywhere near the. This is not like the last 2 cycles. We're in a different spot with Bitcoin. It's at a whole different level of maturity. So I think this run. I think this is going to be a bull run reminiscent of the stock market, right? I mean, if you look at the big picture, yes, we've had dips and crashes, but the stock market has gone up in multiples over the last 100 years. It's done nothing but go up. And in fact, it's accelerated drastically over the last 8 years. So I don't see Bitcoin being any different than that.
R35 has the best question. Hang on. Why is your highest conviction in Bitfarm and not in one of the others?
Well, it's not like that's my highest conviction by a mile, but my highest conviction is in Bitfarm because when I look at their operations and I look at what they're mining and I look at their balance sheet and I look at their market cap, I mean, just take Bitfarms versus, and this is not a knock on Hut 8 because I own Hut 8 and I trade in it. I like them. But why is their market cap $500 million higher than Bitfarms? Bitfarms mines more than them every month. So to me, they got to make that catch up. Now, Hive has a little bit more on their balance sheet, but, you know, the valuation is not so heavily balance sheet driven. That doesn't make any sense to me. And they're both, you know, the upside is they're both wildly undervalued in my opinion. I just think Bitfarms is, I think they're rock solid. And they've got the most upside, but it's not like by a mile. I think it's a real close race for which one's the best. And there'll be a time I'll change my mind. You know, if Bitfarms was at $11 right now, I probably would be picking somebody else. But they're at $8.
What's the market share right now at Bitfarms? If you don't know, I'll look it up.
What do you mean? Their market cap?
Yeah, cap, yep.
Yeah, it's like 160 or something like that.
160 million?
Yeah.
I'll give you a real good example, guys. There's a new company, and it was one of you guys that gave it to us. Iran. It's IREN.
No, I'm sorry, not 160 million. That is totally incorrect. That is totally incorrect.
I'm using your information.
1.6 billion is what I was thinking, but it's actually 1.5 billion.
So they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and there's another company called IREN. That they do the same thing, and their market cap is roughly the same, and they have no Bitcoin.
So let's see.
What's that? Yes, right there.
So yeah, these guys are $1 billion, right? And their operations pale in comparison to Bitfarms. That's what I'm saying. It's it's difficult in a very. The Bitcoin mining market is very young right now, and it's just starting, and valuations are all over the place. But the one thing they seem to have in common for the most part is they're all way too low, which is unusual because most of the stock market, in my opinion, is trading too high. There's things trading at at sales multiples that are insane. These things are going to be trading. If Bitcoin stays healthy, these things are going to have to go up dramatically, or they're going to have the lowest PEs in the entire stock market. Blue Dope, do you think that Bitfarms is going to do better than Mara? I mean, I think that here I'll answer that, because no, I don't think they're going to mine more Bitcoin than Mara, but Marathon's a $5.3 billion company. Bitfarms is a $1.5 billion company. So do I think they're going to mine 3 times as much as Bitfarms? They haven't yet. They've never done anything that even resembles that yet. I know they have a huge plan to ramp up. They're trying to ramp up to 13.3 exahash by mid to late 2022, but Bitfarms is planning on ramping up to 8 exahash. And again, all these numbers are going to change because people are going to buy, there's going to be a lot of buying on the spot market as well. Anytime anybody can get their hands on machines, they're going to do it. So I think Marathon's a good investment. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that Bitfarms at less than a third of the cost is a better investment.
Have you heard of this BPW, Tom?
BPW?
DPW.
Yeah, yes, we talked about these guys on Friday.
They announced yesterday that they're going to split into 2 companies.
Yes. So again, this is a micro cap stock. And I thought, yeah, this is the one that went ballistic on Friday. So I'm waiting, and it's had a really nice pullback. So it was at $2.13. So at that point, I felt like I missed the boat. Maybe it's back in a range. Yeah, this was as high as $2.39 at one point. So I need to do more due diligence on this. They're splitting their company into their pure Bitcoin mining is going to be its own. It will be the main company, and the other one is going to break off and be its own company. So, and
Did
I don't.
they screw you, or would they have to give you like stock in both?
I need to see how they're going to spin that off. I mean, in all likelihood, they're going to be the majority shareholder of the new company, and they'll still benefit from the new company. They'll just trade separately at different valuations because they do very different businesses. So, a lot of companies are doing that. If they're doing more than one thing and one of those things is in a much higher multiple business, they're spinning it off as a separate company.
So that's a yes.
So DPW, Mr. Charles says they were sued for not paying their miners in 2018. So I have not gone that far back. This is not one of the miners I've done a deep dive on. I've spent some time over the weekend looking at them, and I've looked at them a bit. So, I don't have a super strong opinion on this company. And we definitely need to see how the split is going to go.
I got a couple questions. Do you honestly think Bitcoin is going to do better than Marathon? In all honesty.
So I talked about that one, and my answer was I don't think they're going to produce more Bitcoin than...
No, just dollar. Only thing we care about is money. Return on investment.
I think their stock is going to do better. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Stock is gonna do
I think their stock is going to do better. Now, Marathon just got beat up, but they also ran up more than all the other Bitcoin miners. They blew past their March and April highs, way past them. So, they had a giant pullback, but some of that was a little bit natural profit taking. And then you guys know some other stuff is going on with the SEC and that kind of stuff. So I just did a video on Marathon. So I gave my thoughts and feelings. There's an awful lot going on, and all those things are going to impact the price, especially in the short term. But at the end of the day, I still think they're a good investment. So, and I know there's a lot of people that don't, and they're very worried that, you know, there's some people now that think the company's not even real. So, you know, opinions are all over the place on that one. But, you know, there's so many here. Okay, their number 1 and 2 holders are Vanguard and BlackRock. So I'm guessing they did their due diligence. So,
But isn't that almost every company?
yes, that happens to be almost every company out there. But you get my point. I mean, and this is small potatoes for them. That's $285 million, $204 million, which is next to nothing for these companies that have trillions of dollars. But, you know, if they've put that much money in, they've done their due diligence. I remain optimistic on Marathon. I know they got some hurdles to jump over. Logan, thanks. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I think there's massive amounts of opportunity in the Bitcoin miner space.
Oh, and somebody said, did you plan on holding this through the bear market? Your miners?
I do, because again, I don't think there's going to be. I think the bear markets are going to be like what we just experienced. I think we're going to have 20% pullbacks. I don't think we're going to have 50%, 80% pullbacks anymore. And honestly, if we do, I'll probably just buy more. Because, I mean, I don't see the price of Bitcoin going below where it is right now in the long term, right? It's in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. I think it's going to end up many multiples higher than that. But even if it just stayed at 60,000 for a few years, these miners would be minting money. So I'm holding them. If you look at their their income statements, even right now, and they're just a fraction. Remember, like Marathon was under 2 exahash just a few months ago. They're going to be at 13.3 exahash. And, you know, Bitfarms just doubled their exahash. DigiHost just doubled their exahash. And they all plan on doing a lot more than that. So there's a certain point where you reach profitability. They're all already at that point. Some of them have taken gigantic non-cash compensation bonuses, which skew what their income statements look like. I also know shareholders don't like that at all. So some of them are going to have to either quit it, cut it out, or their stock is going to suffer. No, Manuel, I agree. There's no shame at selling at a profit. And I'll tell you, I do that through options. So I hold my stock and then I buy and sell options on the volatility. So I take profits all the time. I don't want to be misleading and say that I'm going to hold them forever and never take any profits. I definitely think people should be taking profits on stock that you know has gone up dramatically. So that's a very fair point.
Sell. Dude, did we hit a new all-time high today in the Dow?
I don't know. I would have to go look in
the Dow
there.
was up 194. What in the world is going on, guys?
I know, it just keeps going. Now, they're all these indices are very close to their all-time high. The Russell recently just pulled back a little, but it hit its all-time high like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, which wow. I'm sorry. I just doesn't make any sense to me with all the problems you see in the world.
Yes.
Like here's a great one. I just went, got something to eat, and I was driving through the mall, and there's cars there, but usually you can't find a parking spot now in the mall.
So, well, there's a lot going on out in the world right now. There's various major global things going on that are preventing business as usual. So, but that's all the more reason we shouldn't be trading at a stock market that's at all-time highs.
That's my point.
So it doesn't. It doesn't. I agree. I mean, I said that earlier. It doesn't make any sense to me why we're at these numbers. And somebody earlier said we do nothing but print money. So that should have an effect on the dollar. It should have an effect on the stock market. It should have a massively positive effect on Bitcoin. But that relationship hasn't started happening yet. I don't know why. I think ultimately that will happen, but it hasn't yet.
It says Coinbase is up. Let's see. I'm going back in.
I don't know if it's Levy or Levi. Christian says that Hut 8, Marathon, and Riot partially have done as well as they have because of all the hype behind them. And I don't know why. I know why Marathon and Riot got ahead. They were listed on the NASDAQ first. So there's no doubt. Everybody was into them first, and they ran up huge on the hype. Hut 8 is their own best hype machine. Like, they caught up, not in market cap necessarily, but in positive news about themselves. They're masters at that. So yeah, I agree. I think that's the reason they trade for more than Bitfarm is they're just better at selling themselves.
It is up. Coinbase is back up. And I'm up 4.5% in Ethereum.
Michael, I have not looked into Cypher's warrants yet. I'm going to write that down because I meant to do that.
Look into it, Tom.
I'm going to have to look into that. Who took my pen?
I did. When you weren't looking, I looked at it. And I grabbed it.
All right.
What are you thinking for tomorrow, Tom?
Let's go back to the chart. Yeah, we should wrap it up. It's been a while, but let's just go back to Bitcoin, see what's what. So we're at 57,250-ish.
Riot, hang on real quick. Riot thinking about selling. He bought at the drop. What do you think? Thoughts, Riots?
On Riot?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not selling my Riot at all. So, I mean, they're at 36 right now. They were in the high 70s, I think, 6 months ago. Now
Actually, let me. What's your strategy? I guess that would be the best question.
On Riot, that's the last stock I finished accumulating on. Riot lagged behind everything, and when it got so far behind, I started to accumulate some more Riot. And so I just filled out my position on that not very long ago. So fortunately, my basis is good in it because it was kind of the last one it was the first, Marathon and Riot, like everybody, those were the first two I was in, but I went out of them for a long time into the Canadian miners because they were just a steal in comparison, in my opinion. So, I feel like I kind of got a little lucky. Riot and Marathon came back down to earth, and I was able to get into Riot. Riot was at between like 25 and 30 for a long time, so there was really good buying opportunities there.
Yeah, Riot's the only thing that I have that's green right now, by the way. That's weird.
You got in at the right time. It's all about what your cost basis can get, because all these stocks have had wild rides and been highly volatile. If you bought Hive 3 weeks ago, then you're red right now. If you bought Hive 3 months ago, then you're really green right now. Not as green as you were a couple weeks ago, but... So the one stock that has flipped on me, DigiHost made such a giant pullback that I am now red on DigiHost. So... And I didn't sell any, but I haven't bought any because I already had a really oversized position for such a small company. But I'm holding my position. I believe that will recover.
Yeah, I got beat up. Riot, so I'm probably even now on Riot because it says I'm up $5,000, so I'm probably even. But someone sold their Riot for HUD shares. They said because they thought the CEO was pretty.
Well, he's saying it was a while ago, so depending on when it was, that could have been a good trade. Especially if it was before Hut went bananas. Hut had an incredible run in October. So if you got him before that. Nate, yeah, I agree. Any, and particularly Cypher, are plays. And the next cycle, you know, I don't know that it's going to be a 4-year cycle thing. I'm not feeling like that's the way it's going to go anymore, but definitely Cypher is more of a future value type of a situation. They're not even mining anything yet. But if they do what they say, you know, they could be a monster.
That's the thing, is everybody can say that. I think that's the reason why I like, you know, the companies that are already doing the mining and already into the business, because anybody can say they can do it, but you know, executing, there's a big leap to get to the end result, and I think that's the reason why I'm nervous of Cypher, by the way. Not saying they're not going to do it, but I mean, you know they're going to have problems.
I'll give you an example. It's yet to be proven, and the perfect example is Marathon, who they really just got into this in December of 2020. Their hash rate was like less than 0.1 exahash. So, and they've had a lot of stumbles along the way. They have a lot of downtime on their machines. I think more, as far as I can tell, more than any of the other miners. And, you know, they've made big plans and they've got a lot going on and all that's great. But there's a reason that Riot, with slightly less exahash, is mining more Bitcoin, because Marathon's having some execution problems. So, you know, hopefully they get through them.
Manuel, you should like CleanSpark then, because CleanSpark, you know, they're coming up with all these green energy ideas. I'm sure everybody is now, but I know that they do have a solar farm to power some of their miners. Probably not a ton, but do you believe Lucian could drop more?
Yes. I think Lucid Motors and Rivian are both still. I'm not, having said that, I'm not putting my money on it, but if you look at Lucid Motors, the valuation, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. There is no sense to that at all, and the only thing that makes even less sense than that is Rivian. Now, they did get beat up a little, especially Rivian was up at 180-ish, and I think it's way off of that. But both of those companies are worth more than General Motors and Ford, and I know a lot of people think that's apples and oranges, but it's really not. General Motors has spent $40 billion building out their EV infrastructure, so you can't say that they're not an EV player. They've spent actually a lot more money by far than Rivian and Lucid put together. So,
Not aware of any other company doing such a measure. Who is it? Is it DigiHost that's sharing with
Bit Digital.
With Bit Digital, yeah, they're going to be doing it.
They're hosting and they're maintaining, and they'll share in the profits. So that's another thing that makes some of these a little more complicated. A lot of people always ask me why I don't talk about Bit Digital a lot. Their equation is more complicated, and they've been less transparent over time. I do think they're getting to a better spot right now. So I actually did a video that I haven't posted yet that I talk a little bit about them. I think they're starting to be transparent. They had a massive shift. You know, somebody earlier in the chat talked about, you know, having to move your machines around every few years. Well, there's your example. Bit Digital had to move every single machine they have. So they were basically the vast majority was in China. So they were in transit for months. When they all landed, and you know, there was a lot less than they thought there were, you know, I'm not saying they were misreporting their numbers. I'm just saying when you have to pick up your entire operation from China and move it to points elsewhere in the world, it's a difficult task. So that was a tough run, but I think they're settled in. So I will definitely be talking more about Bit Digital in the future. I mean, my target price for Bitfarms, my long-term target price is multiples higher than what they are right now. You know, this is easily, in my opinion, not financial advice, but this is a $40 or $50 stock easily.
That's really funny, Manuel. Go Bitfarms. I live in Alberta, but went to Bitfarms and said, LOL. That was so funny. Tom, you have mentioned we can't hear your partner very well. Oh.
Oh, sorry, that is George. He switched microphones. We thought that helped, but it sounds like maybe still not.
I don't know what's going on. It's always something.
Yeah, I have, for most of these companies, if you guys want to look at my opinion, I have put out a video, an individual video for most of these companies over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I try to get a little bit deeper on those and tell you my line of reasoning behind what I like and why I like. And they're almost without exception, I'm invested in all these companies. So, I have a positive opinion of them.
Or you wouldn't have your money in them.
Or I wouldn't have my money in them. That's right. And I am a very, some people, oh, you're trying to pump your stock. And it's like, listen, I am a very small channel. I'm not having any impact on any of these stock prices, no matter what I say or do. So,
See you, Michael.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Hey, I really appreciate everybody's comments and everything. It really makes it interesting. And what's cool about this channel is that if you guys didn't give us feedback and input, it'd be really boring. And you guys have a lot of knowledge, and it's great that you share it with everybody. We really, 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 really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate. I appreciate that comment. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. Like George said, much appreciated. Your comments are appreciated. I like to say that every time because I get so many positive comments, and it really helps me a lot to keep going. So I appreciate it very much, and I love everybody coming in on this live chat. This has been fun, and so we'll keep doing it. Sorry, we're not giving a lot of notice sometimes, but things pop up, and we want to talk about stuff. So that's what happened today. But for our regular deal is Friday at 4:15. That's going to be our regular, and we'll have more than that. But for now, that's a for sure. So
thanks, everybody. I'm going to run. I'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot. Great. Everybody have a great night.